Yep, give me one moment. Link. Discord. Alright, I just sent you the link. Welcome. And it still should be the same password, Motive Stream, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, cool. And we're good to join the server. There we go. That took a second. Did I send the link to the wrong one? It did send the link to the wrong one. Why, all of a sudden?
Green light, go, go, go.
Yep, hold on. Let me try that again. Yeah, why is it sending the wrong link right now? Slab malfunction with YouTube there, my bad. I got no heads up display whatsoever. Oh, that's why. Oh. That's a bit different. Still got the yeah, I'm back to the main hub now. I got it, buddy. It's labeled. Or should I turn it off? I'll turn it off. Alright, yeah, I guess that's fine. Because you still got that weird bug where we have to leave the server.
Sorry, it was I've been off. I was disconnecting some. I think it's done having disconnects, but if it disconnects again, I might have to relaunch the game. and then hit drive again. Okay, thank you.
You won't be commentating. You go. Yeah. Yeah. So you gotta go. There's like a little arrow to the left of drive, and it kind of can drop down.
Oh, and then it'll let you change camera setting.
Yeah, exactly. So don't hit drive because it'll actually put you the car on track. Welcome everybody to the Moto Racing YouTube channel for the ACC GT3 Championships, Tier 1, Round 1 at Monza. In the booth, I am joined by Mountain Goat and myself. I am the Greek, and we'll be commentating the first round here for the GT3 Championships.
Hello, great to be here.
How you doing,
I
man?
am coming over from racing, but I'll be here commentating this race, and I'm honored to join this.
Glad to have you here with us, Mountain Goat. Have you raced before on ACC?
Yes, I have, and coming over from what many would consider lesser games, it's a very challenging experience. While I have had competition. Yes. That's a physical adjustment. How's that?
50? Is that any better? Let me try again. It kept it. 80%. Yeah, let me try 50 and see if that works better. Check that, see how that is. Yeah, let me check that. Yeah, chat audio to party chat. Yeah. Actually, that's not even an option for me to open up. Yeah, let me. I was trying to, but it was grayed out. Yeah, adjust audio mix. Completely. Yeah, it's actually. Yeah, it's completely grayed out. I don't know why I can't. Maybe. Is it my mic volume or is it the game volume that's a little bit? Okay. Alright, check that, see how that is. Cool. I don't know why that was so loud. You know what I just realized too? My headphone has adjustable dial on the side of my headset and it's turned down. So I can't. And I got a separate dial for party chat, so I had it turned down, and I couldn't realize that. Oh, hey, this is really loud. But you are right now. I turned it back up. Anyway, sorry for the technical difficulties there. But go back to the conversation between me and Mountain Goat here. You say you're coming over from which game to ACC?
I have previous experience. I've tried a little bit of Project Cars too, but my main predecessor game was actually Gran Turismo Sport.
Oh, okay.
I've always been a fan of the Gran Turismo series, and I had 4 and 3 when I was young, and without even playing 5 or 6, I made the jump to Sport. I got fairly competitive on it. I never entered the manufacturer races, but it was hard for me to like crash on the Nürburgring, for instance. But coming to ACC, there's a lot more physics, such as turbulence or weight shifting on curbs that is involved in this game that you don't see in Gran Turismo.
Yeah, I have to agree. I started out with the Gran Turismo games myself and made the move to Project Cars. Was on there for a little while, and then I just now moved to ACC, and I just ran Tier 2 just a moment ago, and it's tough. The physics are a lot different. Curbing, you can feel once you touch the curbing, the car gets real loose. There's no traction there, and it's really nice. You know, it has all this physics, but it's tough to try to adjust to this, so it makes it hard to drive.
I love, interestingly, between Gran Turismo and Assetto Corsa, the track isn't, the line itself isn't much different, but the danger is different. I find the marbles to be a new challenge on the exit, especially if the Parabolica or the entrance to the chicanes. If you run too wide in Gran Turismo, you can almost straddle the curbs, but in this game, a curb is a death sentence. Yes,
I have to totally agree. I caught the curb on the exit of the chicane, and it's, you know, when you catch it, it's, you know, it'll cause damage, you'll hurt the suspension, and you'll have to end up pitting and fixing that, and it's a long time while you're in the pits here. Take a look at the running order right now. It looks like Vale's side qualified P1 right now with a lap of 149. We see these guys there, average lap time around 148, 149 around here. Really hustling around that big AMG Mercedes. AMG, my bad. AMG Mercedes.
What I actually find pretty interesting here is we don't see a running order divided into groups. Each vehicle is consistently farther in distance behind the lead. Ooh, big jump from 49 to 48 seconds. Every other person below is now at least a second behind.
Wow, yeah, Maripod really laying down a good lap time. That Lamborghini 148.09.
He just won over the Mercedes too.
Yep. Very quick lap time. Rompu, I remember I raced with him in Project Cars 2. Another very fast driver. Again, in the Mercedes right now. 1.4 seconds off the lead time of pole position. Marty Road Racing, good to see him back out again.
Rompu, who you were earlier explaining about, will be competing with Sir Terahov, I believe, who behind him is only 30 milliseconds off of him.
These lap times are very close. From second place down to about 7th place, it's only separated by, as I'm watching Sir Terahov, he just spun it on the exit there.
No collision, thankfully.
And God, not ruining anybody else's lap time. Moving down the running order a little bit, kind of right along with Marty Road Racing as he comes around to complete his lap. And we'll see if he improves at all. As we see,
no
improvement. So Mountain Goat, what do you believe is the toughest section in this track on ACC?
For me, Monza really strikes to me, not actually in the chicanes. The chicanes, we all know, are famous for their first lap controversies, but I believe the most important corners are the blind corner before the one down into the tunnel, and I believe the one coming out before the Parabolica. I feel like both of those corners challenge a driver's balance of fortitude for speed and desire to keep them and their cars safe.
I have to agree with you on that. Once everybody kind of spreads out after lap 1, the chicanes probably become pretty easy to navigate, and it's some of these a little bit quicker corners that becomes a challenge. As we're seeing, I just realized that Valesat actually improved his lap time. He is only 0.2 of a second now off of the pole lap time of, I believe it's Murad? I'm not good with names. I might butcher a couple here. So.
I believe that's Mario Depp, 97.
Mario Depp. Well, thank you for the correction. So let's see what other action's going on that track right now. I'm gonna jump on with Greenwood, see how Greenwood's doing. He's running the Ferrari 458 Italia, or I believe it. I can't remember the actual.
Here he comes to the very corner we're talking about. Let's see how he navigates the blind one. Hangs wide.
Runs a little wide, uses a lot of that curbing. Ooh. Uses a bit of the curbing there after the tunnel of chicanes. Good exit.
Ooh, sorry, I had to disconnect there.
Yep, that's totally fine. We're about to end the qualifying here as we're on board with Greenwood. He's going to finish up his lap time. See if he can improve any. Yes, he can. He goes 4th.
Here he goes.
Big improvement
Wow.
from 7th. As Cam goes
he is now
too.
on podium.
Wow. Cam with a
It looks like he'll be entering the pits to change his setup.
As I believe we have a spin after the chicane after the tunnel. I don't know. I'm trying to run down the order, see who it is. And I am not too sure.
Seems like most players are waiting in the pits or changing their setup for their last lap here.
Yes. So that will be the end of qualifying. That is the run order. Actually, we got 2 cars still on track. Mario looks like he's going for another lap.
Ooh, onto the runoff.
Yeah, he gets it a little wrong there. So. My controls will actually be locked here. I can't actually cycle to the car, so we're gonna just ride around. He's gonna bring it into the pits. He's gonna abort that lap, bring it on in. I believe I can return to garage. Yes, I can. And we're gonna see who is else on track at the moment.
That will be the Wall, finishing with the only rider in his series, bringing it into the pits for his check-in.
Oh,
the Rider is not an easy vehicle to drive.
It is not. No, the Wall has got to be one of my favorite drivers out here. I always talk with him. We kind of discuss setups when we can. Great guy, and I just love saying his name. Where bring on the Wall.
I see it all the time in the. By now it's a cult chat.
It is.
It's lovely.
I love it every time I gotta announce his name. It's always good. He's bottom of the leaderboard right now. He must be struggling with that Lamborghini. But hopefully his race pace will be a little bit better. So who's your favorite here for this race?
I have only raced with so many of the people here, but I am enjoying some of the rare vehicles to make an appearance, such as next to the rider, we have Emo Guy 97 in a flat-out gold 666 numbered Nissan GTR, which I have some experience driving. It's one of my favorite vehicles to drive I found in this game. It is definitely one of the rear-wheel drive cars of this game. All of them are rear-wheel drive. I'm sorry. Used to the not it's the GT4 class. But on this game, it does want to kill you. For a front-wheel drive car, but many of the other ones don't do so. Interestingly, however, it does have by far, in my opinion, the best cockpit view in the game.
Interesting. I haven't driven that car yet, so that's interesting insight there. Hopefully that number is not synonymous, and Emo Guy can have a good race. I'm not a superstitious one, but I'm quite wary of it. I've raced with Veilside in Tier 1 Project Cars 2, and he's a quick fella. He is on Project Cars 2. He was very quick. I believe he drove the Mercedes last season, and I'm not sure if this is his first season on ACC, but I am excited to see how he's gonna do. I think he'd be my favorite to win this race. He wasn't that far off Mario's pole-setting lap. I believe it was 0.2 of a second slower. We're gonna run down the order.
You were right. It was a 0.240, I believe.
Okay. So we're gonna run down the order real quick. So in first place we have Mario in the Lamborghini. Mario depth 097. In second place we have Veilside in the Mercedes AMG. Third place we have Cam 123 Diz in that McLaren 720. In fourth place we got Rompu in the Mercedes AMG. In fifth place we have Greenwood 2384 in the Ferrari. In sixth place we have Leon Seeley SOP. Can't forget the title there. And pink, that's a rather brightly pink Ferrari with green wheels. That really stands out. So Sir Tevaho in seventh. I'm gonna butcher these names. I apologize in advance. In the McLaren. SD12 Dash in 8th place with another McLaren. In 9th place, we have Marty Road Racing in that Lamborghini. I watched him last season, and he was a pretty consistent driver. Some tracks he was very quick in, so looking forward to watching him race. In 10th place, we got DDTKU in that Mercedes AMG. In 12th place, we got Sergey in that rather nice looking gold and white Lamborghini. 12th place we have AA
I
Ratchet.
believe I raced against him once. It's a lovely car. It was distractingly good.
It is very distracting. Hopefully no one out here gets distracted by that reflection off that gold paint. And then in 12 we have AA Ratchet and McLaren 720. And 13, I believe that is the only Aston Martin, or is that a Jag?
It is an Aston Martin Banjo JMR.
I believe that is the only Aston Martin in the field. In 14th, we got Normac in the McLaren. He drove, I believe, the Jaguar last season, so he's making a switch over to the McLaren for this season. In 15th, we got Emo Guy in that really nice-looking GTR. Beautiful car. And in 16th place, rounding out the field, we have the Wall 34 in the Lamborghini. Bring on the Wall. The Wall gonna be Wall gonna be trying to start from the very tail, trying to work through everybody. The Wall he struggles in qualifying, but he really excels in race pace. He's a very consistent driver. He makes his way up through the field. So looking forward how he's gonna do in this race.
The last race I had with him was impressive, as I was watching him fend off the newer Lamborghini, and even though I was overpassed by the two, he continued to defend at night at Olton when I was in that race. Wow. I believe I disconnected from that one.
It happens, you know, connection issues. It can be troublesome sometimes. So we have an hour-long race for everybody here that's joining the streams. For anybody that's joining right now, welcome. This will be the ACC GT3 Championship here at Monza. Round 1 of the championship, starting off the season with one of the fastest tracks, probably on the championship list. Coming over from Project Cars 2, I wasn't too used to the starting procedure here, but I actually rather liked it. You know, you let everybody kind of take control. You got to line their cars up themselves. I actually enjoyed it.
Cars all bustling as they begin to move for the green flag.
Everybody trying to get some heat into those tires. They are cold. That can make a challenging turn one, especially here from Monza.
All prayers, hopes, and wishes set on the famous Corn 1, Turner 1. Or, I'm sorry, I messed it up. Lap 1,
good.
Corner 1.
Let's see, hopefully everybody can get cleanly through turn one as they round around the last turn.
It is very interesting to see here that the cars are paired up by their manufacturer almost. We can see 2 Mercedes within distance of one another, 2 Ferraris within distance of one another, 2 Lamborghinis in distance with one another, and 2 McLarens within distance of one another.
You are right. Wow, that is rather interesting. Kind of like it's planned out. Promise you it's not. We got the green. We are going racing.
Oh, here they come.
It is an even start. That Mercedes, the big V8 Mercedes coming down the straight with a slight advantage, but he's on the outside. The Lamborghini a little bit better into the brakes into turn one. Will everybody get clean through turn one? I don't see any No,
we have
spoke
one.
too soon. Someone that's
The Lamborghini goes, and there goes the Ferrari out to the almost to the exit tarp.
Oh, it looks like A Ratchet is in the sand. The Aston Martin was in the sand. Oh,
All
boy.
things considered, that was a rather minor accident.
Yep. So a little contact. Looks like someone must have got a little jealous with the throttle. Come back to it, looped it, and collect the back runners. Which I believe, yes, AA Ratchet now has a drive-through penalty. He must have made contact with somebody.
Oh yeah, in the second chicane.
Yep. As Greenwood, he was rather qualified up high in the running order. He's now running back in 16th. Although I believe our timing charts haven't updated yet, as we have a car that's, I believe that's a Ratchet in the back actually. He's probably the one running 16th at the moment.
Greenwood fighting his way past LCPA.
Let's switch back up to the front run and see how it is up here, as everybody kind of spreads out at the moment. Mario with a sizable lead already as they come around to complete lap one.
Each car is beginning to find its territory in the world of Monza.
Everybody hard on the brakes into turn one.
Oh, we have one off.
Was that Rompu? Yes, it was. Rompu missing his braking entry. Completely missed.
Now has to take the inside of a Ferrari. Oh, it will be heading too wide into the second chicane.
They're even with it. The Ferrari a little bit late on the brakes. He's going to stay pretty clean. A little contact, a little bit of rubbing. Rompu not
flashing
too
of the lights.
Not too happy with that move, I assume.
We will now have to use the predator instinct of the AMG to hunt down the rivalry between what is often discussed as some of the 2 best vehicles in the game. In my opinion, I believe all vehicles stand a chance, but between the popularity of players, I have seen a rivalry between Ferraris and Mercedes.
I have to agree with that. One of the 2 best cars in the game is definitely the Mercedes AMG, the Ferrari, and also I think the McLaren is a very well-rounded car here on ACC. As Rompu really putting a lot of pressure on that Ferrari, trying to run him back down. But it just looks like that Ferrari's just a little bit quicker through the turns. I knew when I drove in Tier 2 the Mercedes, and the car progressively got tighter the longer I was out there. So something to watch out for these Mercedes drivers.
Here we come to the section compensating for draft. The beautiful gold Lamborghini is catching up, it seems.
Gonna move down the running order. See Marty Rowe racing that. Made up some lap time. Behind him is DD, and that's another Mercedes, and then Normac and that McLaren. Everybody has settled into their respective running order at the moment.
Greenwood, who we earlier were looking at, is now beginning to attack none other than the wall. As we come to the second chicane, ooh, bump on an exit. Into the blind corner.
He's up to 13 already, doing well. Having to defend from that Greenwood and Ferrari.
Now they come into the tunnel stretch. Ooh, a little bit of grassy in by that Ferrari.
Definitely one thing you got to be careful of is not to run off track. Pick up any marbles, grass, or dirt on those tires. It's going to make the car very loose for a couple laps.
Egregious use of the curbs by the rider.
Good battle right now between the wall and Greenwood. Greenwood trying to find a way around.
Ooh, here he goes.
He works up the inside.
It's all about defense now.
Yeah. The wall just parks his car right in the middle of the track, going whatever which way he wants to defend. He's going to take the wider line. Ferrari.
Greenwood has the inside, and the pass is made.
Very, very good pass there by Greenwood. That was
incredibly clean.
The wall giving plenty of room for him to go through, no contact. Right impressive. But the wall trying to retaliate back. He says, you might get around me, but I'm not going to let you get away. A little late on the brakes there. Oh, compromises the exit out of the chicane there.
I'm seeing a battle between the two McLarens ahead. Normac versus Dash.
Yes, you are correct. And actually, if you actually look back, I think that big Nissan GTR, he's putting pressure on Dash at the moment. You know, we used to make fun of the Bentley last season, calling it the Boatley. Big old car.
Yes.
Now we got the Nissan GTR, which is just another massive car.
You can see over everyone. It's kind of advantageous when you're all cooped up.
Maybe an advantage for other drivers for next season to think about. The GTR.
Definitely good cockpit view. I'm telling you, it's there. You can see right over the wheel. Can see everything around you, including your window, which I know the McLaren, at least the 620S I was driving, doesn't allow you to see out the driver window.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, man. Normac defending. Dash trying to get away around. Dash with a lot more speed, late on the brakes. Can he get the pass done? I believe he does. Dash up to 10th place. Take that spot away from Normac.
Greenwood just overtook Emo, I believe. Yeah, in that same chicane we saw two passes. The wall is now under his second course, approached by the Vantage. Oh, we have an off track. There it goes.
Who spun off track?
That was
it
Emo, I
guy?
believe.
Oh,
it was Emo, I believe.
Yes, it was. He was doing pretty good in that GTR. That has dropped down the running order now. I believe
Greenwood moves on to his next target, the McLarens we were earlier talking about.
Yes, he's round the back of Normac now. Greenwood, he was fast in qualifying, I believe.
He is making an incredible recovery from that spin at the beginning of the race.
Yes, as Emo Guy, he spun it again. He spun it over by the chicane. Probably those dirty tires, trying to push the car a little too hard, and has looped it once again.
The battle for second place is unfolding between the AMG and Cam. Or no, that's a McLaren, who is right on the rear of that ginormous Mercedes. Man, imagine being in the cockpit of that McLaren and being unable to see past your competitor.
Very risky as they come side by side. A little bit later on the brakes, Cam, he's going to get the pass done. That was very smooth going to the chicane. Cam doing a great job driving the McLaren up into second place.
The battle still down in the mid-pack is being fought. Greenwood is now past Normac and now has to face the next McLaren, effectively distancing the McLarens from one another who were fighting so earlier. This comes into one of the philosophies I learned about racing from another driver, where the McLarens could possibly, instead of fighting one another, could work together to stay ahead of their target or catch up to others. I've learned that fighting considerably puts energy into making an overtake that slows both the defender and the attacker down.
You are definitely correct on that point. I did notice it a lot in the chicanes. If you got two cars that go into the chicane side by side, you have to slow down considerably a lot more so you can clear the corner, and that gives anybody that's behind chasing the opportunity to gain some time and catch up. So sometimes it is just better to let a driver go on by, fall in behind them, and attack in a different corner to not allow the person behind you to make up time, and then worry about a third person coming into the battle.
We now have SOP Leon Seeley attacking the McLaren ahead of him. Sir Terahava is now under fire from his bright pink competitor.
The bright pink Ferrari with green wheels. The Ferrari, I'm seeing a trend here. The Ferrari is a little bit quicker through the chicanes, a little bit nimbler.
Doing my research, I've also found that the Ferraris are able to attack with a lot more fuel reserve. They can attack for much longer, but still save fuel that something like the AMG, for instance, will greatly cost them.
That can play a very big factor here, since there is a mandatory pit stop about halfway through this race.
Ooh, Greenwood is making a move on the next McLaren now. SD12- is now under fire finally from Greenwood, who has made an impressive recovery.
He is
Both white
determined.
cars fight one another.
He pulls out from the draft. He's going to take the long way around.
Oh, there he goes.
Dash is defending. Oh!
Egregious use of the sausage curbs, they are often titled the sausage curbs, has now thrown him off course. He will now be losing a number of positions, including...
Actually, no, he was a good recovery. He just falls right behind.
It was a great recovery.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the camera lost me there for a moment, and I was expecting him to fall behind his earlier competitor, Normac, but no, they have been placed right back to where they were before.
He turned in just a little bit too early, got a lot of that curb. Here's the thing, though. Did that cause any suspension damage to the car? Well, the more damage you have to fix, the longer time you have to spend in the pits. So that can play into the factor once you start cycling with your pit stops.
Man, this battle is getting intense. It's now a three-way. All thanks to the incredible but honest slip-up.
Yeah.
I have raced numerous times here at Monza only to meet my end because of one of these famous sausage curbs.
I have to agree. Yes, same here. Those that curb in particular, right there on the exit of the chicane, I've turned in just a little bit early and grabbed that curb a bunch of times, and it is deadly. You know when you hit it, it'll throw you offline. It'll throw you in the dirt. It's a race ruining curb.
It's so tempting to run so close, but it's so dangerous at the same time.
Yes.
You can feel compelled to do the impossible. Greenwood breaking away now from the two McLarens without leaving the drama behind him, as they still battle white and black versus one another.
Normek and Dash put on a great
Oh, we have a
show
spin.
here.
I believe that was who golly
Who
was
has
that?
dropped it?
That was oh gosh, I just lost him. Cam goes down to 8th now, where his second place was, I believe.
Oh no, yeah, he was in second. Cam apparently has got it wrong.
He, I believe, I saw him crash on exit of the Parabolica. He may have slipped into some marbles.
Oh, that is absolutely terrible right there. He is going to be kicking himself for that one.
Oh, there goes Dash across the causeway from the second portion of the chicane. He gains time, but I do believe he will lose a penalty. He made a slip up.
Unless
probably spinning from hitting a curb.
Yes.
Oh, Greenwood.
I jumped on the Rompu for a second. I watched him kind of get it loose, ran really wide with that Mercedes. I believe those Mercedes are starting to struggle.
To stick behind this Mercedes he was once on course to defeat. Which, by the way, remarkable reserve from the Mercedes driver who is watching this madness unfold behind him. He has seen it now for, I believe, 3 to 4 laps. And now, Didi in the Mercedes now perhaps stands a chance against Cam if Cam is now discouraged.
Dash, he got it wrong in the chicane. He hit the wall. He was right on the back of Greenwood putting pressure, and I think he got back to the throttle a little too early.
As you can see now, he is now filled with damage from his incidents from the past 2 laps. Both on the front and the rear, that will cost him aerodynamic stability.
Not to mention any
Does he dare pit in?
Will he try to stay out, run a couple more laps, and wait until everybody else starts cycling in? Yep, I believe he chose to stay out. Such a shame. He was doing a good job there, putting pressure on Greenwood, trying to get 10th place back.
The race is now spreading itself thin.
Taking a look at the top runners right now for 3rd place, we got SOP, Leon Seeley.
Who's now actually made his way past Terahov, who we saw earlier was in front.
Making great time in that Ferrari.
Ooh, Mario has a bit of a run-in with the curb, but he is back on track.
Mario with almost 8.5 second lead to Valeside.
I believe that's Vladislav.
Is it Vladislav? Oh boy, I do apologize. Thank you for the correction, Mountain Goat.
Oh, that's Vladislav Rayaba, I believe.
At least we have someone here in the booth with me that can fix my pronunciation.
Man, I should have caught that earlier. I was so confused. I kept hearing Valeside.
Yep.
See, now we're mixing the two together.
Yeah.
I kept hearing Valeside, and I thought, I don't see no Valeside. Every time you said Valeside, I went looking for Valeside, and I was like, I don't see one. And then it hit me. Ron Pooh flashing his lights again. You know, I don't know if it's a button rigged. I remember oftentimes, that reminds me of the early control scheme for Gran Turismo Sport often had the flashing lights attaches to the button binding of R3, I believe, which is when you press down your stick. So oftentimes when people would, their left stick, when you steer with your left stick, people were oftentimes digging their fingers into the controller and thus inadvertently pressing down the analog stick, making it look like they were flashing all the time.
Could be interesting. I know when I used to run GT Sport, I had it mapped out on a button on my steering wheel, and I would sometimes be turned into a corner, I hit the button and it would flash it. So it could be the same deal here for Rompu.
Whoa, it's starting to snuff up here.
Oh, in the back.
Now in the runnings is DD, is now running into Greenwood, who has been stopped behind Zelenov.
Yep.
I believe we may have missed something here because there's a huge gap here that wasn't here before.
Maybe Zelenov.
Oh, wait, there goes. With so much resolve earlier, DD falls a little.
That Mercedes maybe becoming harder to drive. Who is he under attack now by? He is under attack by Normac in the McLaren.
Greenwood is making his move on Zelenov soon, who I also believe has roof damage, hood damage, bonnet on the front of the gold Lamborghini.
Maybe he had contact
with the
wall.
It's flipped open.
Possibly that's why he has dropped down the run order and he's been caught by Greenwood in the Ferrari.
I believe we've definitely missed something here.
Greenwood doing a great job here with the comeback from last place, that early spin in turn 1 on lap 1. As he just overpowers.
Whoa. Wow. That was impressive.
Which I believe is also Sergey, which I believe has been in the booth with me announcing before. Sergey.
Zainov, I believe, is suffering from something we're seeing internally in his engine. He is losing power, it seems.
Could be that aerodynamic drag right now from the damage up front.
I was once reading posts and forums from players of this game, egregious here abuse, of someone who labeled users of the Lamborghini as, in modern words, tryhards. And the best response upvoted by so many people was someone who said, "Please stay out of our way. Our cars are actively trying to kill us." And I couldn't say more or less the same for my experiences with the vehicle. It's a very, very fast vehicle. But putting it into a corner is like wrestling a horse that you haven't made friends with yet. It's like riding a bull. It's like being in the Spanish runnings. The car is controlling you. You're just having little influence on its actions. What you're feeding it are mere suggestions of its eventual course as he runs onto the wide tarmac.
That has to be the best description to drive the Lamborghini I have heard. Taking a look, it looks like Normac has finally got around DD.
Cam is just fighting his way past Ronpu now. Whoa, on the straightaway, coming too wide into the first chicane. Power versus steering. Steering is on the outside, however. That mighty AMG body was going to be on the outside, and he succumbs.
Gets the pass done. Cam trying to fight back up to the leaders after an earlier collision that we sadly did not catch on the stream. But he's making good time right now.
Didi, who we earlier saw spin onto the grass just a little before the bridge, is now beginning to take a fight to Normac, who has seen so much now that it must be like being in a war zone. See here. Race is spreading thin. However, Leon Seeley still seems to be ahead of Ser Terahov, who, while earlier succumbed his position to him, is still holding on. Mario Depo has lost his 8-second lead. And is now...
Again, I'll butcher your name, so I do apologize. Vladislav, thank you. Making gains right now. He's cut that lead down to 3 seconds. It could be Mario conserving the car, trying to save tires, trying to save fuel, make the car last a little bit longer.
And now is the time, as we're beginning to see cars suffer from their damages or earlier errors. Looking back towards the rear end, I'm looking at Emo Guy, who we earlier saw had a huge accident, but only from a spin. It now appears he has damage on both ends of the vehicle, and is doomed to a life in the rear with... Oh, there goes even farther in last. Probably a lap behind now, being overlapped, is the Aston Martin Vantage, who we earlier saw was fighting with Greenwood, his first victim. He will now be a backmarker to the other racers and will prove an interesting mix-up to the leaders of the race. Oftentimes, many drivers may get stuck in the rear and they're going to feel like they're not going to be an integral part of the race anymore. But they're very much relevant to depending on the races of the others as overlaps and spins go.
You are very correct. As the first guy to come to the pits is Emo Guy. He didn't think twice about it. He came in and he wanted to get repairs done to that beaten and battered Nissan GTR. But who else is going to join him? As it looks like everybody's going to stay out as the pit window has opened. They only have 10 minutes to come in and make their scheduled stops. Once 10 minutes is up... Personally,
go ahead.
Personally,
I feel for SD12 Dash, who we earlier saw has now damage on both ends of his vehicle and has been suffering for it since. His position earlier in the mid-pack has been pushed all the way down to 12, funny enough, the same name of his title. I believe he should turn in now for the pits to get ahead. Yep, there he goes. My thinking just as I do. With him turning into the pits now, he will be able to recover from his damage, and he won't have to survive the horrors of exiting the pits with everyone else. Let's see, he's not the only one in the pits. We are joined by
Marty
Road Racing, and
Emo Guy is exiting the pits.
Emo Guy exiting now.
And as the Aston Martin Vantage comes in to make repairs as well.
Riders coming in as well.
The wall. Here comes the wall. making his scheduled pit stop along with everybody else. I believe Marty Road Racing just left the pits.
We will now be watching Mario, who already has some damage on the front end from the earlier time I saw him run off a curb. He will now have the choice to turn in now and forfeit his lead to the runners behind him, or continue as long as he can to get the distance he believes. Oh, there he goes in.
As our leader, Mario, comes in to make his scheduled pit stop.
He forfeits his lead to Vladislav, who now will be powering down the straight with no opposition.
Now, here's the question. Does he make an attempt to run the best lap he can to extend his lead so he can have...
We have an interesting situation, though, now, because the Vantage we earlier saw pit has now left the pits. He is now standing in between Vladislav and earlier leader Mario.
This could be interesting when Mario decides to exit the pits.
He'll have to maximize his return if he wants to do so. He will have to exit in front of this Vantage, who is now the backmarker of this race. Don't be ashamed to be a backmarker, folks. You're very important. You're like a chess piece of the game itself.
As Didi, he comes into the pits. He's rather slow coming into the pits. I'm guessing he is looking for his pit stall. Mario is now done with his scheduled pit stop. He is now exiting the pits.
Just ahead of the 666 Ferrari, who will Sorry,
GTR.
Nissan. Yeah. Who is now behind Mario and will thus, in his presence, defend Mario. The fight is returning to between Normac and Dash, as they're now straddled by Zelenov, who we earlier saw had damage for his vehicle, which I don't believe has been recovered yet.
Is Dash going to be a lap down here? I believe Dash would be considered a back marker for Normac and Zelenov.
Zelenov still fighting in his damaged vehicle. Perhaps it's not as bad as we expect it to be.
Well, it looks like he's using a draft right now of Dash. It'll be interesting coming into the last turn here. Zelenov hugging the inside line. Could he be coming inside for the pits? Yes, he is.
There he goes.
Oh, he's got to slow up quite a bit. Don't want that penalty. Guys, who do we have coming into the pits right now? Vladislav in the Mercedes, making his scheduled pit stop, with SOP sealing that Ferrari right behind him. Greenwood making his scheduled pit stop, and Zelenov coming in to make repairs to that beaten battered Lamborghini. Zelenov.
Will he exit in time? Here we go. Here's the test.
Vladislav
Here comes
coming out
Mario
of
down
the
the
pits
straightaway.
now. I hear a Lamborghini go on by. Oh, here he comes.
Oh, there he goes. He is back on where he started without any back markers in between them. That is a remark, folks.
But what is the gap now between them two? Because I believe when they pitted, it was a 3-second lead.
It stays the same. Leon exits the pits. Where is his challenger, Terahov? Terahov, it seems to be, is now... We'll have to wait for the
Timing board
sector to update. Yeah.
That's one thing I hope they fix here on ACC is the timing boards. Hopefully they can have them update just a little bit quicker.
There we go. He's still ahead, as it appears. And he's gained significant lead earlier from when we saw Leon passed him a long time ago, and they seemed to hold on to this distance for a while. But it seems like the distance has doubled and the standings have swapped.
Very interesting.
Greenwood, for the first time in a long time, is now alone in the race. He will now have to hunker down for the long road ahead of him.
All by him, his lonesome. As we have Cam and Rompu coming in to make their scheduled pit stops. Cam with a great recovery this race. Normac comes in for his pit stop.
I believe that's all the pit stops for this race.
You would be correct. The last three coming in to make their scheduled pit stops.
Mario wide onto the marbles, the parabolic.
Oh,
he spins! Oh, there he goes!
No!
Oh, Vladislav goes by! Holy moly, that was amazing!
Good recovery, but absolutely race-damaging incident.
Has the pit window closed? Does that mean Mario is stuck outside with whatever his damage he's accumulated?
Pit window is actually still open. There is still 2 minutes left.
How much has
Does
he
Mario
got?
stay out and try to hunt down Vladislav, or does he come in and make repairs? He is going to be kicking himself right now for that one.
Oh, he has retained damage. Wow, what a turn of events. Vladislav, without any opposition now, is now free. Look at the distance he has between him
5
and
seconds.
the rider.
As I believe we got a penalty coming from Normac. I believe it was speeding from pit road.
Yes, we saw him struggling to slow down into the pit lane. It's a pretty 50 kilometers is it isn't fast. It's very slow. Coming into the pit lane, you often will come in at 70 or 80 kilometers per hour, and you're very often wanting to get on the gas as fast as you can. I once myself made the mistake of not assigning a button to the pit limiter, which is a very useful tool. You can often accumulate a stop-and-go pit penalty due to not assigning the right button and just hitting the gas thinking it exists.
have to agree with you on that, though. It took me a little while to map out the controls of my car, on my steering wheel, and have a button for pit limiter because I was getting.
Oh, DD makes a pass over on the Aston Martin, who falls into the sand trap. Sorry for interrupting you there.
Ooh, totally fine. Gotta look through the
He
run order to see
is
where
now
that's at.
bridging the distance between DD and Zelenov, who we earlier saw suffering from his damage. Zelenov will now have to get as effectively as he can past that Aston Martin.
Oh, as Zelenov, he's putting it in the sand. He has looped it on the exit of the
That will
chicane out of the
certainly
tunnel.
cost him.
Pit window is now closed.
Pit window is gone.
Normac comes in to serve his penalty. He barely made it in too, right as the pit window closed.
Cam, who we earlier saw his accident, passes the 666 Nissan.
Emo guy doing a great job of making sure not to get in the way of these truck runners.
I'll be honest, I myself am a backmarker many times. It's a work trying to discover which direction the drivers want to pass you by. You have to respect them, but at the same time, you don't want to accidentally jump into the same path they're thinking.
Yes, and that's what can make it really challenging, especially when you have two cars battling. The car that's chasing can sometimes, or the car that's in front of the battle can sometimes use that back marker as a pick to hold back to the car that is chasing them.
Zelenov, it seems, has returned to the pits. There goes Normac, released from the pits without penalty now.
Yep, stop and go. He is clear and he's back in the race. But where does he land? He will fall down.
Greenwood is now fighting Ronpu on the inside of the Parabolica. He gets by in the braking zone.
Very good job by Greenwood. Great recovery by Greenwood here. He's putting in a tremendous amount of work here as
Ronpu goes wide onto the marbles. Notice he has damage on that bonnet. It'll be lifting up like they do in those cartoons after a little while. Mario's distance between his once follower, the person who was once chasing him, is actually increased to a time that was greater than he ever leaded by. It's now at 10 seconds. He's now being challenged by the eternally tethered Terhaven Leon Seeley. Someone who we haven't talked about much this entire race, Marty Road Racing, has been running an incredibly consistent race. I don't think he suffered any damage that I'm aware of, and it has paid him off. He is in 5th.
Well, I don't remember. Do you remember where he started on the run order?
I believe he started somewhere mid-pack. We saw him. He was in the gap right between where the leaders begin to set away and where the fighting begins. He got that pocket in between. It feels. Also notable is Cam's recovery as well. He is now after Marty Road Racing after the earlier spins we were seeing. He's actually ahead of Greenwood. This is a fight I'll be waiting to see.
Two very fast cars right on track right now.
The Wall has also made a recovery. Earlier trailing in the last 2 spots, has made his way ahead of ST12 Dash after a harrowing race earlier.
So he's in at the 10. Yeah, the Wall stayed out of trouble, running real consistent lap times. Really just try to stay focused. You know, no mistakes, and it's proven to be an advantage here.
Oh, there goes Terahov. So long tethered with Leon Seeley. He ran into the wall. He took on the grass and it butt him. Bited him in the wheels, and he turned to the inside of the corner, smashing into the guardrail. He has taken side and front damage. Will his damage hinder him with his tie to Leon Seeley? The two who have worked together for so long. maybe separated for the first time with only a third of the race remaining. They're now challenged by Marty, who we were earlier talking about, running a great consistent race, something I'm surprised to see from the Lamborghinis, who we've seen numerous of drive off course. Marty, whatever he's done through his setup or through his training, has really dialed in the pace here.
Running a nice, consistent lap times right now. As I believe he is gaining time on Terahov. Ooh, Terahov runs a little wide.
Vladislav now
Oh no,
finishing
Marty
his
Road Racing has looped it. Oh no, on the exit of the chicane. Oh, there's a thing here at Motive
we
Racing.
jinxed him?
I believe so. We call it the commentator's curse here at Motive Racing, and we spoke too soon. Such a shame.
Oh.
He did so good for the entirety of the race.
He will now be fighting Zelenov, who's no stranger to the damage his car now suffers.
Oh, he loses it
Oh.
again. Oh.
And this is the kind of attacking that I feel happens to many racers. You spin it once, and you're in such a good position, and then all hope, all driving force you have just leaves you. And it's you feel like you're driving the same, but it never returns to where you were before. Your mentality changes.
Yeah, it gets tough. You know, you start going to the despair.
You feel like you're doing the same, but to everyone else, you're just a different person. He stays ahead of Greenwood, who will be the battle we've been waiting for a while now.
Marty right now,
Marty becomes the victim of what Zelenov was once facing.
Marty's got to calm himself down, clear his head, get back into that rhythm again, find his line.
He still has a good fighting chance. I'd be happy to come in the top 10 in this race.
I'm taking a look at the front here, and Vladislav, he's opened up a lead to about 14 seconds now.
It is. It's twice as much of a lead than Mario's lead we saw earlier.
Yes. And
with no challenge, Vladislav feels like making cotton candy at home and watching television on the dashboard in his vehicle as he sails past the straightaways. I bet he is. I bet he's catching up on whatever television show he's been binge watching. Every time he hits that straightaway, he's going to be watching it for 30 seconds, then turning it off, finishing the track again for another lap. He rewards himself through every lap, and it's this rhythm he's gotten into.
Might be watching the highlights of the earlier F1 race.
He is so engrossed in his television show that it's the thing driving him to go so fast. I don't think he cares for the race anymore. I think he just wants to see the next 30 seconds of his episode.
Could be. Taking a look at second and third, Leon Seeley, he's gaining time on Mario. He's only 1.7 seconds behind him now.
Terhov losing speed, but still hanging on, kind of. Cam is now coming up to challenge him in the similar vehicle. Cam retaining damage. Marty is finally being challenged by Greenwood, coming out of the first chicane.
That damage Marty has picked up is definitely affecting him. I've raced with Marty Road Racing, and one thing I've noticed, Marty is very good at defending.
But does he have it in him after his earlier mistakes?
We'll have to see. Was cornered very well to the chicane there. Gained some time, just a little bit. You can see Marty Road Racing using every bit of the track right now, trying to gain any time he can to get away from the Ferraris. Greenwood, a little loose on the exit there.
Greenwood's common tactic looks like it's being put to work here. Notice how he's just gliding along the track, forcing his ahead rival to use as much space as they've got. This is what we've seen him use on so many of the other drivers here. Marty using some of the curves.
Greenwood using a lot of the curves there on the exit, trying to keep up his momentum.
We also have another battle unfolding in the front. Mario, who we've seen suffering from damage after his horrendous crash, taking him out of the lead, is now being challenged by another consistent driver, Leon, who has lost his tether from Terahov, who also will begin to fight Cam.
Adrian, interestingly enough, Marty Road Racing moved on over and just let Greenwood get around them. Obviously acknowledging that Greenwood was much faster and he's trying to make up time to get back up to leaders. But Greenwood back up to 6th place right now.
There's going to be a gold star to Marty after the race, handed out by Green.
Marty Road Racing, if you hear me, you get a cookie for that right there.
I'm going to have to look at my pantry for that one.
Looking at the battle for 4th right now between Cam and Terahov.
Oh my gosh, two of them are unfolding right next to one another. Terahov now is facing seasoned Cam. Both McLarens. Both with damage. In the same place, I believe.
Interestingly enough, we even have the back marker of Normac in between, splitting up those two groups as Cam gets up right next to Terahov.
Will Terahov succeed?
I believe. Oh, they
swap
back.
sides.
Terahov rolling on the brakes.
Oh, that'll both cost them as as they now have to face together Normac,
who is actually
the
a
faster they can
right now.
Yeah, the faster they can get past Normac, the better chance they have on the fight that will only last for so long ahead between Mario and... Never mind, Leon just got passed after Mario. Looks like he made a slip-up in the bottleneck part of the second chicane. That second chicane is much different than its predecessor.
Oh, it's all going wrong right now for Mario after commanding the first half of this race. Leading most of it is now just
Cam gets by Terahov. Mario won't have to keep his guard up because just after that one, here comes Cam. Oh, it gets so exciting towards the end.
Oh, as we have a spin, someone has retired from the race. Emo guy,
I believe, has
yes.
To the pits.
He says he's had enough.
How many racers did we have into the track?
I believe we started out with 16, so we've lost, one must have disconnected, and Emo guy decides to retire.
Terahov ran wide onto the marbles in the Parabolica, a theme I'm seeing more and more commonly here at this race. Normac is now victimized to Cam, who gets passed. Oh, Terahov just cuts through.
He just completely missed. As he launched that barrier, did he get it out of the way? Missed his braking point going into that chicane.
I'm surprised we haven't yet seen someone pass the first portion of the chicane where if one decides to go flat out, they will obliterate the blocks. It almost becomes a shower of foam as they fly about the track. It becomes particularly distracting.
Looking up at the Leon Seeley, as they're going to come up onto the back of Rompu now.
Funny because the two of them have also been pretty close, more or less, most of the race. Rompu after one spin, which is a very common theme for most of these drivers. Great helmet match, actually, to his livery I just found. Look at that, his gold visor.